Alrighty guys, this is Justin back here with another video, and today we are reviewing Terrifier 3. So without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright you guys, like I said in the intro, today we are going to be reviewing Terrifier 3. And I think it's only appropriate I bring this guy out. Went to Spirit Halloween the other day. Didn't film it because I wasn't expecting to find anything. My Spirit Halloween hasn't had anything, God knows how long. But I found this guy, this little Art the Clown. This guy is so cool, and he feels really cool as well. He's very soft, so yeah, very cool. Love this is my first art thing in my collection, so very happy to have this. But yeah, today we are going to be reviewing Terrifier 3, and possibly the most anticipated horror movie of the year for everybody, honestly. And this movie, let me tell you, this movie did not disappoint. Opening was crazy, very crazy. But yeah, before we get into reviewing the movie, I am going to give you guys a little warning. There is going to be spoilers. I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I loved it. My favorite horror movie of the year. Only reason I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, trust me, I wanted to give this movie a 10 out of 10 so bad. But it leaves you with more questions than the second one. Story-wise, I feel like the story was more put together than Terrifier 2, just from my personal opinion. But yeah, beginning of the movie, we start off with Mr. Art the Clown as Santa Claus, and he breaks into this family's house. This little girl goes downstairs. She's like, oh shit, that's Santa Claus. Like, I'm gonna go say hi to him. Then she kind of realizes, like, she sees Santa take the axe out of his bag. She's like, oh shit, that's not Santa. So she sees him go upstairs, and we hear a bunch of, like, you know, beaten up sounds. And we go see, and Art the Clown chops up this little boy. And though we don't see it, thank God we don't see it, because I do not want to see that happen to a little kid. They do show everything that happened. Like, this little kid dismembered. We see the dad dismembered. We see the mom. He goes after the mom, but I believe the little girl gets away because we didn't see anything happen to her. But we continue on, and we go 5 years ago, basically. And we pick up where Terrifier 2 left off, which I love when movies do this. We basically go back to the Terrifier. We have Art's body. It's basically headless. So this officer comes down, Art kills him, takes his head. Then he gets onto the subway with this officer's head. And he's going to the insane asylum where Victoria is kept. Chris Jericho gets picked off. Leah Voicey gets picked off. And Art the Clown gets his head back. His head is on the floor without a body, chewing on Leah Voicey's body. And Victoria's sitting there playing with her blood. And it's just a very crazy sight. And then we get introduced to, well, not introduced, we get reintroduced to Sienna. We find out that ever since the events of Terrifier 2, she's been in a mental institution. Not really an institution, but, you know, like a therapy home, basically. And she's going to live with her aunt and her uncle. And we find out that she has a little cousin that she has. We also find out that Jonathan has been in college. He's been trying to, like, keep everything away. You know, like, he's trying to, like, move on with his life. He doesn't want to think about it, which I don't blame him. But throughout the movie, we learn that Sienna knows that Art is back. And she has a feeling, but she doesn't want to accept it. She thinks that she tells her aunt and her uncle that they'll think she's crazy and they'll send her back to where she came from. So, continuing on, these two, we go back to Art and Victoria. They go to, you know, the place where Art was in the first movie. His place where he has his tools laid out and everything. And Victoria basically takes her life there, and Art sits there, and this was during the 5 years ago, but this movie basically has a time jump in it. So we find out that Art and Victoria are brought back to life. They kill these two construction workers, and they think, okay, we are going to go after Sienna now, because obviously it was explained in the movie that Art was brought back to life by this demonic entity, and the entity was the little pale girl in the second movie, and in this movie it is Victoria Hayes. Now, continuing on, Art, him and Victoria, they basically separate and they go do their own things, but then Art goes to this bar where there's Santa Claus and two bar workers, and that's how he gets his Santa suit. Now, the one thing I love what Damien Leone does is he makes you love these characters, because the two bar people, they were being rude to Art the Clown, and Santa Claus, he was actually being nice. He was calling him clowny. He bought him a drink. Now this part gets funny. After he bought the drink, obviously Art doesn't drink, so he didn't know what he was drinking, so he spit the drink in Santa's face, and then he pissed on his lap. So then obviously anybody would get mad at this. He got mad at Art the Clown, and he tried to fight him, and Art took some dry ice, or wool, whatever it's called, and he basically blew it onto Santa's face. He blew all over his body, broke his legs, broke his hands, and he ripped his beard off. So then we fast forward to the mall. We find out that Jonathan is coming home for Christmas to spend it with the aunt and the uncle, and that Sienna wants to give him a present. So Sienna takes her cousin, and they go to the mall, and they're going to get Jonathan a present, basically. So Sienna's sitting in there, and this really familiar tune starts playing. And obviously it's the Clown Cafe. And Sienna, my God, Lauren Lavera was great in this movie. This part made me feel like I was with her. Like you were standing in that mall with her and you seen what was happening. The shot they did where she was standing there just still in fear and the tear going down her face when she seen Art walk in that mall dressed as Santa Claus, it gave me anxiety. And I am a person that really gets anxiety. This movie was amazing, and rightfully so. So we continue on. They go home, and she goes to Jonathan's college, and she talks to him. And Jonathan has his roommate. His name's Cole. He's kind of like the big brother figure to Jonathan. And the cool thing about Cole is that he's got this girlfriend that's a podcaster. And she finds out that Jonathan and Sienna are there. She's sitting there. She's talking to him. She's like, I've been following your guys' story for so long. I'm a podcaster. It would mean so much to me if we could find out how you've been coping with this. And when she says coping with this, that's when Sienna gets pissed, which I don't blame her. I mean, they were attacked by a murderous clown, and they're trying to get over it. They lost their mom, and she lost all of her friends as well. So, yeah, it's just been... Sienna, she gets mad at Cole's girlfriend because she's, like, coping with this. I've lost my mother. I've lost my friends. I've been in and out of mental institutions, and you want to know how I'm coping with this? And she basically goes off. Jonathan takes her downstairs. He's like, why the hell would you sit there and yell at her like that? Like, all she was trying to do was ask you for a favor. And Sienna was like, you were the one that told me that we are the ones that need to beat the little pale girl. So, we don't see the little pale girl in this movie, but they're referencing her. So I wonder if she's not going to come back at some time. I don't know if she will or not, because the girl that plays her, she's gotten older now, obviously. She's a lot taller. But, unless they find another actor to play her, which I don't know if they're going to or not. But, they want to kill this little pale girl, which in this movie, it would be Victoria Hayes. So, Sienna goes home. She finds out that Art the Clown is back. He blew up the mall. He gave this kid a bomb as a present, basically, and the kid opened it, and boom, everybody dies. And, she goes crazy. She's like, we need to get Jonathan back. Like, you guys need to bring him home. He needs to come home now. She talked to Jonathan. Jonathan's like, okay, I'll come home. What's going on, you guys? Future Justin here. I want to talk about the shower scene real quick. The girl that does the podcast, which is the boyfriend of Cole, she finally gets to meet Art the Clown face to face, because she said that she wants to feel what it's like to be that close to a murderer, like up to, like, see him before she takes his last breaths. And that's what Art did. After he was done killing her, he took his glasses off and he looked at her right in the eyes, and then he put his glasses on her and just kept going at her with the chainsaw. Then he went for the boyfriend. He shoved the chainsaw right up the boyfriend's butt, and then he went after the boyfriend's wiener and shoved it right up there too. And if you're a guy like me, you were definitely looking away because of how bad the look it hurt. But yeah, wanted to include that. And me personally, I thought this scene coming up was a dream scene because it felt like it. But the uncle, he's like, okay, I'll go get Jonathan. So uncle leaves, and he calls Jonathan. He's like, hey Jonathan, I'm here to pick you up. And instantly we know the uncle is fucked, because we think it's Jonathan, but then at the end we hear the little staticky thing that happened when the little pale girl was being Jonathan. And it just gets very crazy from there on. It goes black after that, and it goes to Sienna sleeping. And she wakes up, she hears her uncle and her aunt talking about how they should get rid of Sienna. And then the uncle says, I know, we should smother Sienna in her sleep. So obviously we're like, okay, we know that's not them. So we go downstairs, we find out that Art and Victoria are at the aunt and uncle's house, and they have killed the dad. And this is the part that really confused me. They have killed Jonathan, which is crazy as well. Which, it's a horror movie. It was an off-screen death, so chances are Jonathan is still alive. They had glasses on a skull, but I don't know. I would like to think he's not dead, just because I think it would be interesting to see him and Sienna finally finish Art off in the fourth movie, which Damien Leone did confirm that the fourth movie is going to be the last movie. But anyways, Art kills the aunt in front of Sienna, and Sienna finds out that her little cousin is still there, and the little cousin is she's basically held hostage by Victoria. And this part was actually smart. They were gonna kill the little cousin, and the cousin says, wait, like, Sienna, I didn't get to see Sienna open my present. And inside that present is Sienna's sword from Terrifier 2. So she opens it, but before she opens it, Art beats her hands to where they're like all broken and everything. But if you don't remember, in Terrifier 2, this sword gives Sienna healing powers. So her hand's healed, and she's like, do you like the present? And Sienna goes, best present ever. And she slits Art's throat, she stabs Victoria in the stomach, and Victoria dies. So that demonic entity that was on there is dead. And Art the Clown and Sienna, they had this long battle, which I'm happy this movie did not do a Halloween Ends on us and tease us with the fight scene and give us like 5 minutes of it. So this movie went hardcore. Sienna and Art beat the living shit out of each other, and then out of nowhere, a portal to hell opens up, and Sienna's got Art pinned up against the wall, stabbed that stomach right into his, stabbed that knife into his stomach, and the cousin is hanging on by a thread while she's in this portal to hell. And Sienna has the choice to either let Art go or save her cousin. So she decides to go save her cousin, and her cousin falls down the portal to hell, and Art got away, and Sienna's just sitting there. So yeah, very, very crazy. Sounds like the next movie we are gonna go to hell, and maybe that's where Sienna will finally beat Art. It's gonna be very interesting, but I loved this movie a lot. Definitely my favorite movie of 2024. I really liked it a lot. Obviously, you could tell I'm very excited talking about it. Obviously, very excited I got this little guy too. First Art the Clown thing in my collection. I tried looking for the popcorn buckets at my theaters. Sadly, my theaters did not have them anywhere. Then I looked. The only theater that had them was a Regal, and I don't have a Regal theater around me, so I couldn't get it. Unless I buy it off of Mercari, which if I do, I'm going to look for it cheap. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on this movie down in the comments below. What did you guys think about it? Me personally, I loved it. I gave it an 8 out of 10. And I cannot wait to see Terrifier 4. Terrifier 4, obviously, like I said, we're probably going to see Sienna battle Art in hell. So yeah, very, very interesting. But yeah, as always, guys, stay groovy, stay safe, you keep your people safe. Remember, God is good all the time. It has been Justin, and I'm out. Peace.